Christians who made a difference.
Today we are looking at the life of a man who has helped many vision-impaired people to be able to read. You have probably heard of Braille, the raised dots used by blind people to read. The man who invented this method was Louis Braille, a Christian man whose inventive mind developed a brilliant means of reading by the touch of the finger. Louis Braille was born in 1809 in the village of Coupvray, about 50 kilometres from Paris. His father was a harness maker, and when Louis was only 3 years old, he injured himself in one eye when playing with his father's awl, a sharp instrument used to make holes in leather harnesses and straps. The eye became infected, and Louis lost the sight in that eye. He also lost the sight in his other eye because of a condition known as sympathetic ophthalmia, and so became totally blind. Louis was a bright boy, and at the age of 10 he won a scholarship to a school for the blind in Paris. When he was 12 years old, Captain Charles Barbier of the French army visited the school. Barbier was trying to perfect a type of night writing for soldiers to use in the dark. He wanted to test this system on some blind people. His system comprised groups of 12 dots and some dashes. Louis Braille found this night writing incomprehensible, and so he set out to invent a better system and came up with Braille 3 years later, when he was only 15 years of age, in 1824, a truly remarkable feat. The essence of Braille is groups of 6 raised dots, 3 dots down and 2 dots across. These make a Braille cell of 6 dots, which can contain 63 combinations of dots, more than enough for the alphabet, punctuation, and in French Braille for the accented letters. A blind reader can instantly recognize any dot combination in a Braille cell just with one touch of the finger. Louis had to fight long and hard to have Braille accepted as the appropriate method for blind people to use to both read and write, and this acceptance did not occur until after his death. This was probably due to people having sight making decisions about its use and preferring the look of Barbier's system. Yet for blind people, the one-touch method of the Braille cell was an efficient way of reading. In the end, it was the blind people of France who understood the superiority of Braille, and in the fullness of time, the blind won the day. Braille was a highly proficient student, and after he had exhausted the school's curriculum, he was asked to remain as a teacher's aide. Then in 1833 he was elevated to a full professorship. For much of the rest of his life, Braille stayed at the school, where he taught history, geometry, and algebra. Louis Braille was also a fine pianist and a gifted organist. He was a devout Christian, and while still a teenager became a proficient church organist. From all accounts, he was very religious and saintly in his dealings with others. Braille's ear for music enabled him to become an accomplished cellist as well. Later in life, his musical talents led him to play the organ for churches all over France. A devout Catholic Christian, Braille held the position of organist in Paris at the church of Saint Nicolas de Champs from 1834 to 1839, and later at another Paris church. Louis Braille never married. During his lifetime he did not achieve fame. It wasn't until long after his death that he became famous. He died of tuberculosis at age 43 in early 1852, but for the previous 8 or so years this disease caused a sharp deterioration in his health. On his deathbed, Braille said, "I am convinced that my mission is finished on earth. I tasted yesterday the supreme delight. God condescended to brighten my eyes for the splendour of eternal hope." For blind people, Braille's invention was truly liberating, and over the past 200 years has enabled many blind people to read and write in most languages, as well as in musical notation. Louis Braille lived out his faith in his determination to help other blind people, and has made a huge difference for good in many, many lives.
Christians who made